Hello everyone and happy Wednesday. It is the 20th of November, 2024. My name is Kyle. That's Mrs. Olson right there. And it is day 5 of the 12 days of making. And today we are going to talk about a really great yarn from Haiku. This yarn is called Concentric. Here is one of the little cakes of Concentric. It comes in a 200-gram cake, about 437 yards, and it is a 100% baby alpaca yarn that is super, super wonderful. It's made in Peru, and it slowly changes color. You can see this one is called Pacific Coast, but you can kind of see all the color changes. I also can show you, it is 4, there you go. You can see those little plies, the individual plies. There are 4 different plies of yarn, and each of those is 2 plies. And you're gonna hold those 4 strands together as you're knitting to make this project or make whatever it is you wanna make with it. So usually I'll start with this one. I'll start with the yarn from the outside and work my way to the center color. But if you wanna begin with that center color, then allow yourself a little bit of time and wind this starting from the outside all the way to the end into a hand wound ball. That way, the end of your yarn will be this color, right? The other suggestion I have when hand winding yarns, especially yarns that are a little slippery, is I would take like a clean tennis ball, like a new tennis ball, and wrap the yarn around that as a core. Think of it as like the core of the planet. It makes a really nice structure for the yarn to be wrapped around so that so it doesn't collapse as you are finishing up and going to the final few rounds of the yarn. So anyway, Concentric, what is the deal? 24% off now until the end of today. At the end of today, that sale will end and we'll have something new for the next day, but it's gonna be 24% off of Concentric by Haiku. And also, we're gonna give you this pattern as a gift as well. So how are we gonna do that? Well, gonna allow us a little bit of time because with each order that people place, you tell us your Ravelry name, or we'll use whatever email address you give when you place your order. And we are going to purchase this cowl pattern. This is called Gusty, like I said, by Laura Ayler. We're gonna buy that from Ravelry or through Ravelry. So if you tell us that Ravelry ID, we can put it in your library. Otherwise, the pattern just comes to the email that you used whenever you checked out. We will print a copy of the pattern, put it in a page protector, and send it along with the cake of yarn and whatever else you bought when you placed your order. That way you have the pattern and you have the yarn and you're ready to go. So there are lots of different colors that this yarn comes in. There are 4 that are newer. This is called Jubilee. Jubilee is a really, really fun one. And you can see here how that color progression happens. So we're starting, if you started in the middle, I remember I told you to start out here, but we're just gonna pretend for a second. If we started in the middle, there are 4 navy blue individual strands of yarn. And then eventually one of those strands will turn yellow. So I have 1 yellow, 3 blue, and then a second strand will turn yellow. So now I have 2 yellow and 2 blue, and then it'll go 3 yellow, 1 blue until all 4 of them are yellow, right? And then it works its way through yellow, and then it starts to change to pink, changing each of the strands one at a time. There are no knots in this yarn. It is a wonderfully incredible yarn. So that is color Jubilee. It's color 1040. There's also this one here. This is called Seaside. Really beautiful. It goes from a deep, deep blue through that mossy green and ends with a really nice sort of latte tan color. There's a similar one called Peacock Rock. This is Peacock Rock. It's a little bit brighter, color 1043. There's another new one called Harvest, which is super pretty. It goes through all those rusts and mustards and yellows and golds. And then for those of us who like neutrals, there are neutral colors as well. This is shades of brown. There's one that's just a study of grays. Here's shades of gray, very aptly named. If you love red, this is called Passion Pop. Very beautiful, right? So all of these, whichever one you want, or all of them if you want, 24% off all day until the end of the day. So I'm going to show you also, this is a really easy project to work on. It is pretty much all garter stitch. So if you know how to cast on, knit in the round, you know how to increase, you're gonna knit a tube sort of, and then you're gonna work back and forth. There's no cutting of the yarn, which is also really interesting. And so you're gonna just make this really interesting shape, and it sits on the body really wonderfully. So I showed you that. The other thing I wanted to show you is this. So this is a Mobius. I'll put this on Mrs. Olson for just a second. A Mobius is a project or a shape that only has one side, which is really, really interesting. This is called Concentrically Twisted. It is a design from Chuck Wilmishire. And I'm gonna show you how this works by taking a maker sticker, and I'm just gonna put it on here, and then I'm gonna take it off Mrs. Olson. So here we go. I'm just putting the maker's sticker on here. We're gonna pull it off of here and move her out of the way. So there's the sticker, right? So as I move, so you can see it's right there, as I move my cowl around, I'm just gonna keep that same side facing, and I'm gonna turn and turn, and there is a twist. The twist is right here. So I just keep turning and turning and turning and turning. And when I get a little bit further, right about here, that sticker now is on this side of my hand. And if I keep on turning and keep going, and keep going and keep going, very exciting, riveting television here, right, or YouTubing, and get a little bit closer, and there it is again. So it does this really interesting shape where all of the sides are the right sides. So you begin in the center with a very interesting cast on. I was going to call it a curious cast on, but it's not curious. It just takes a little bit of time, takes a longer needle usually. And once that cast on's done, the first couple rounds, you're really just knitting and purling, and you just keep going. And the color that's on here, you know, you start in the center, and the color is going to grow in both directions, and so you'll end with the same color on both ends. So that is Concentrically Twisted. Again, the pattern itself is a free pattern. It's a download on Ravelry. You can click on the link in our newsletter or head to Ravelry and check it out there. So that is it. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everyone. I will see you again in just a matter of hours tomorrow, right? Have a great day. Bye.